Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video, my first of two videos coming up today. We're starting off with a discussion about Series 13 airing in 2021 and the John Bishop companion announcement, and then later this evening you'll be able to check out my full long, like 30-35 minute review of the story in depth. We're tackling all the different aspects, discussing, you know, Ryan and Graham's exit, Captain Jack, the Daleks, the Doctor, everything's going to be covered in there, so don't miss that tonight. But for now, yeah, we're going to discuss the fact that they announced yesterday that both Series 13 will air this year, although it'll only be sort of 8 episodes or so as was previously announced. It will be airing in 2021. And also, rather left field, John Bishop is going to be a companion in Doctor Who in Series 13. So yes, let's first tackle the date, the sort of announcement that the series will be airing this year, and I think that's fantastic news. I think it's what the show needed. It doesn't need another gap year. We've had enough of those. You know, 2019 was basically a gap year. 2016 was a gap year. Between 2017 and, you know, you had Twice Upon a Time, but that was basically a gap year and a bit. So to the fact that we know that it's going to be October, September, October time, because they only started filming in November. Although they're filming less episodes because it takes longer due to COVID, they're predicting that it will take the same amount of time, which is roughly 10-11 months or so, which puts you at October next year, basically, or this year, basically. I forget it. We're in 2021, aren't we? It's crazy. But yeah, so my guess would be that it'll air in early October, maybe around a similar sort of slot to when The Woman Who Fell to Earth aired back in 2018 for Series 11. I think that's probably a rough air date, sort of early October, then run through 7 weeks up till sort of late November, beginning of December, something along those lines. I don't know if we'll get a festive special this year. I think it will just depend whether they want to do a 7 or an 8 episode series, because they've very clearly stated that we're going from 11 episodes to 8 episodes. So that used to be 10 episodes plus a special. So is that 8 episodes and no special, or is that 7 episodes plus a special? We'll have to wait and see. So maybe it'll be a 7 episode series and then another probably New Year's Day special, or will it be 8 episodes and no special? I don't really mind. In some ways I'd probably prefer an 8 episode series than having 7 and then a special, but then Revolution was quite a good special, so I don't know, it's interesting to see. But I think the important thing is that Doctor Who is going to be back, even if it's about 10 months away or so. We are going to get Doctor Who in 2021, which I think is just great for this kind of consistency of the show, that, you know, there's why would we push the show back into early 2022 and have basically 2 years between series? Like, it's going to be 18 months as it is, albeit that was partially due to COVID, but I also think that was always really the plan. But I think it's just really, really great news that we've still got a series to look forward to this year. So yes, that kind of covers that off. I'm sure over the months I'll talk a bit more about, you know, my predictions for the series, how the format of the series might look, will we have 2-parters in it, all that kind of thing. That we've got lots of time to discuss that, so I'm sure I'll come to that over the coming months. But the fact that we've got a series this year is great, great news. Now, the other announcement, which was a bit more of a surprise, I think, for a lot of fans, was the announcement that John Bishop, the comedian and presenter and kind of actor from the UK, is going to be one of the new companions in the new series of Doctor Who. In the last month or so, there had been some filming pictures which had seen John Bishop on set for the Doctor Who filming of Series 13. So some people had kind of, you know, debated, could he really be a companion, but also thought it's probably more likely he's just a one-off character. So I was kind of aware of that rumour, but it still came as a pretty big shock to me that, oh wait, he's actually going to be a companion in the series? What? That is a bit of a surprise, really. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. It's one of those things where I've never seen John Bishop act in anything. Like, I'm fully aware of sort of who he is. You know, he's a comedian, essentially. That's kind of his number one thing, is he's a comedian. He also kind of does a few presenting sort of or chat shows or sort of game shows on TV, that kind of thing. And from what I've looked up and from people have told me, he has done a little bit of acting, a few sort of TV shows here and there, a couple of films, I think, as well. So it's not like he's a complete novice to acting or anything like that. And, you know, like therefore he's not going to be a terrible, sort of put in a terrible performance. It's just quite a surprising thing and not something I really had ever expected to see in Doctor Who. Certainly you told me that 3 months ago. That was the last thing in the world I was going to expect, would be that John Bishop was going to be in Doctor Who. So I don't know. I think we've seen this before. You know, back in the day, Catherine Tate was announced to be on Doctor Who. Sure, it's in a Christmas special. It's fine. But then, wait, Catherine Tate's going to do a whole series as the companion? Really? Is that what we want from Doctor Who? And then she was arguably, for most people, one of their favourite companions, if not the best companion in the show. So that's why I'm very kind of unwilling to, you know, write it off and say, oh, it's going to be terrible straight away, because we've seen in the past it's worked brilliantly. I guess you look at Matt Lucas as well. His character wasn't so great when he turned up in his first episode, but then they improved him as a character after that. And despite being, you know, a comedian and a slightly odd choice for a companion, I think it became quite a good one by the end, even if not, you know, one of the greatest ones ever. And then even you can look at Bradley Walsh as well. He very much is a, you know, a game show presenter who's done a little bit of acting, and yet he's been one of the greatest things about the Chris Chibnall era so far. So that's why I'm inclined to say that actually this could work quite effectively. People, of course, will say, oh, it's just a ploy to get high ratings, you know, win the fans back that have all left because the show's terrible, blah, 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 blah. But that's not true. ultimately they've decided that they want to, I think, Chris Chibnall's probably mates with John Bishop and has thought, oh, I've got a really good story I could tell with you playing this character, a character called Dan that he's going to be playing in the next series. And so why not? Let's do it. Why not? Let's give it a go. Let's see how it works. And so clearly they've been talking about this for the last year or so, I think, and started filming it in November of this year as well. So he's very much a part of the series and will be well involved in Series 13. And I think that's really, really interesting. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. It's hard to say right now, but I don't think we should criticise them and say this is just to try and get viewing figures, because it's not. It's because they clearly had a good story idea. He was interested, John Bishop was interested, Chris wanted him to do it, and so they went for it. And why not? You never know, it might work. It's worked with Bradley Walsh, it's worked with Catherine Tate, it's worked with Matt Lucas for they're the most obviously comparative people, I think, to John Bishop in terms of their sort of previous experience of TV or doing things before they've done Doctor Who. So that's why, you never know, it might work quite well. I know that some people sort of were a little bit disappointed that it means that we won't just have the Doctor and Yaz as sort of all-female TARDIS team, and we'll say, are they not allowed to have one of those? I don't believe that's true. I would be very surprised if that is true. And part of me, yes, would have liked to have seen just the Doctor and Yaz and exploring that clearly quite interesting relationship that I think will be a big part of Series 13. But I don't think that Dan's going to, massively get in the way of that. He's very much going to be the slightly sort of older companion again, maybe fulfilling the Graham role to an extent. And being, I'm just interested to see how they're going to kind of get him involved in the storyline. What character are they going to give him? What's his kind of reasoning for being on the TARDIS and all those different aspects. I think there's a lot of interesting sort of possibilities in that we don't know yet, and we're going to have to wait to find out. But yeah, so that's just a quick little update and a few thoughts on the big announcements from yesterday. As I say, if you want to get all the rundown and my thoughts on the episode of Revolution of Daleks, make sure you watch my channel later. I think about 7 PM or so I'll be putting it up, where you can get all of my thoughts on everything that happened in the episode as well. But yeah, ultimately I'm pretty excited, very excited for Series 13 in 2021, and I'm intrigued to see how John Bishop is going to be as a companion in the next series. So guys, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about John Bishop as a companion? Do you think that it's going to work? Are you not so sure? I'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it in the comments below. But apart from that, guys, as always, please do hit that like button, that subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you again very soon for a brand new video. Goodbye.